Hey everybody, back again, and for today's video, thought I'd do something kind of maybe fun a little bit and talk about my brief experience as a car salesman. Yes, I've had a lot of jobs. I've probably had over 20 different jobs, and one of them, I hate to admit it, I was a car sales guy. I was teaching at the time. I needed some extra money over the summer, and I saw an ad for car salesmen, and they can make a lot of money, and it was just a summer job, so not like a career, thank goodness. I was like, oh, I could try this, right? I had done some sales previously before, didn't do well, but a little bit older now, a little bit wiser, experienced. So applied and got hired to go work at a Ford dealership here in the great state of Arizona. One of the biggest Ford dealerships, not in the state, but in the whole region, actually. So it was a big one. And for about a month, maybe a month and a half, I was car salesman, and it sucked. Oh my gosh. It just felt scummy going to work every day. Like, there's such disdain for car salesmen, and like I felt that every day when I went to work. But anyway, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. So I got hired on to sell cars. To start with, there was probably like a week or 2 weeks of training to kind of learn the ins and outs of being a car salesman. Maybe it was just a week. It was very short. I think it was paid, but not very much. But what's interesting is it really wasn't about the detail. It wasn't so much about cars, and it wasn't so much about the business, right? It was all focused on communication. It was all focused on relationships and connecting to customers and being able to talk to customers and answering their questions and knowing what your customer's thinking, right? Very different than what you think maybe car salesman training would be, right? It was all customer focused and relationship building with that customer, because once you get on the lot, the truth is, when you go and buy a car, right, here's some inside advice for you, right? The car sales guy has no power. That guy has no control on the deal, the car that you get. That guy is totally powerless in every single way. That guy you meet, that guy who's hanging on the rails, jumps you as soon as you get out of your car. I hate that guy. I was not that guy. They have no power at all. Okay, their only job is just to hook you, right? To keep you on the lot, right? To make them like you and to keep you keep the process moving along to buying a car. But they don't make any decisions on any single thing, right? Hey, you want to buy a car? Let me show you some of the cool ones we have. You probably can't afford them, or you probably, your credit's not good enough for that, but let's get you really wanting a car, and then we'll find one you can afford later on in the process, right? So the whole point is just to be likable, which is weird because they jump you as soon as you get out. That's very unlikable. But that's the whole point, right? Get them to like you, build up that repertoire, kind of poke and prod with questions like, what are you looking for? How much can you pay? What's your credit like? Trade in and stuff like that. Kind of get some information, pump the well for information, but also just to get you to stay around and get you comfortable with the sales guy, right? They're kind of they're the in-between in every way. And so, they're kind of like on your side, and they're helpful and kind is the idea, but they have no power at all. They get the information from you, they run the credit check and stuff like that. Do you want some water? We stay on the lot so we can keep selling to you. But the ones you got to look out for are those guys in the tower, right? You know what I'm talking about? That glass box that's always in the middle of a dealership so they can see everything. Those are like the experienced sales guys. Those are the guys who've been around for a long time. That's the big boy place, I guess you could say, right? Ours had a bunch of old cranky vets in there, I guess. And those are the guys that have all the power, and those are the ones that they're trying to rip you off. Okay, just so you know. Okay, those dealerships, they may say they're your friend and come in and no. Okay, maybe the owner of the dealership wants to give you that impression. Those guys in that tower are looking to fuck you over as soon as you step on that property, right? Why is there a glass wall? Because they're cussing and swearing you out the whole time. Look at this motherfucker. Look at his credit score. He thinks he can get this car. No. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to give him. He's crazy. He doesn't take this. This piece of shit. They are constantly just railing on those customers, man, because they just see them as dollar. That's what you're a dollar sign to those guys, and it's their job to take you for as much as they can. That's what they do, right? It's a game. And so they're not looking to give you a deal. They're not looking to be your friend. Those guys are the one. Car salesmen get bad reputations because of those guys in the tower, right? They're just they're demeaning you. They're calling all sorts of. It's foul. It's locker room stuff, right? So, when you sit down and they run your numbers and your credit, all that goes to the tower, and you got like one or two guys who are crunching the numbers and like, okay, here's what we'll give them on the trade-in. Here's the credit score. Here's what we can get from the banks, and here's our best offer. And so they make the decisions, and it's up to the salesman to come back and kind of share with you what you've got. Never, ever, 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 never take that first deal, okay? Because that's how they make their money, okay? By getting a whale to come in here and taking that person for a ride. They charge them, they got an extra $1,000 or $2,000 out of you because you're surprised they actually approved your credit, or you're like, oh, I can actually get the car. Oh, never take that first deal because it is totally screwed against you. Okay, you got to understand. You have to understand this. When you walk into that car lot, okay, you have all the power. Okay, they need you more than you need them. Okay, those lots, they got to be moving cars, okay? They got to make room for new ones, so they got to sell. They have some customers just can't get approved. Not enough money down, not enough credit. So customers are in short supply. You are in high demand when you are a customer, and they need you a lot more than you need them. There are tons of dealerships all around that you can just go to and take your business somewhere else, and they know that. Okay, so they have no leverage over you at all. Okay, you have to understand that. They should be afraid of you, not the other way around. And if you understand that, it flips the conversation. So never take that first deal. Like, nah, it's not what I'm looking to pay. Nah, it's not I don't like, my finances or interest, whatever it is. Find an excuse, send it back. Okay, the salesman, he's a messenger boy or girl. That's his job, her job. To go back, nope, they won't do it. That motherfucker, doesn't he know that I'm giving the best? He's stupid for. Okay, all right. This is the game and how it's played. All right, we'll take 1% off the interest. We'll give them an extra $500 on the trade-in, which they never even look at. That's such a racket, right? They basically just look at your car, look at the mileage, the year, and there's a huge database online that kind of tells them what that car is worth, right? I mean, yes, you want it to look nice and clean, but does it have a lot of dents, a little bit of dents, no dents, and they just kind of pull value off the internet for how much that car is worth. So it takes 5 minutes really to see how much, it's not that big a deal. So they'll come back with a second offer, and then don't take that second. You need to make these guys work for your business, okay? So nope. Not good enough, okay? Monthly payment's still too high. Whatever. Again, find an excuse. Messenger goes back. Tower cuss you out. This son of a bitch, this stupid, I can't, whatever it is, okay? Then they'll come back out, super nice. Hi, sir, my name's so-and-so. I'm so glad to meet you. Wow, I know so-and-so's been working with you, and let's see if we can't make a deal. So here's what I got. Here's the best offer I have, okay? Take it or leave it. So you got to work them down, okay? And then at that point, you can take it or leave it. I mean, it could be the best offer, but in that, you got to make them sweat, is what I'm trying to say. So it's like, you know what? It's still not good enough. And then you got to read them, right? So like if you're just so far apart, then they'll just tell you, okay, you know what? I got other things. You got to read them, right? They got a lot of other deals to work on. They're super busy in the tower. So if they are just like, okay, well then we'll see you later, right? So if they're calling your bluff and just like, well, then we can't make a deal, then maybe you can't, right? I mean, maybe, you just can't afford what they're offering. So then you need to walk away, right? But if you can see they're still kind of stringing you along, right? If they're a little wishy-washy, or they're like, well, maybe. If there's still some discussion going on, they can probably do you a little bit better. So stick your foot in the sand and like, you know what? I told you what I wanted. Oh, I wanted $300 a month. I told you I wanted $2,000 for this trade-in, not the $1,500. And like I said, I'll go to some other dealership and maybe they can give me what I want. Okay. At that point, they'll either say, okay, well, thank you for your time, and I'm sorry we couldn't make a deal. Or if they still have some more wiggle room, this is what they'll say. Well, let me go back. Okay. If they go back to the tower, then that means, all right, they want your sale and they want the business. And so they'll just give you like the bare minimum they can. And at that point, then you can be kind of comfortable taking that deal. If they come back, the fourth time in this example. But you kind of have to see where they're at. If they have time to work with you, that means they want to work with you. If they just blow you off, then maybe it's not going to happen, okay? But beware those people in the tower, because those are the scumbags, and they're going to mess you up. That's their job. That's where they make the money, and it's just like a sport. Like, that's what they get off on, and they're looking to screw you over totally, right? And when they do, they get in there and do the chest, at least where I worked at, right? Chest thumping, and all this motherfucker didn't even know what I was doing to him. And ooh, that's a good payday for us, but they're not your enemy. They're not your friend. They are your enemy. The car salesman actually is the only friend you have, right? Because he's powerless. If he gets paid totally depends on what the tower decides to do with you and your finances in your deal. So he's rooting for you, right? But he has, like I said, or she, no sway in this whole decision-making process. They just are kind of along for the ride and trying to make a deal happen. That said, I was a terrible car salesman because I was that guy. I was so worried about making deals that when the tower dude left, I'm not a good salesman. I'd be talking to my customers like, all right, he's going to come back with a deal. Don't take this deal. I'm taking money out of my own paycheck at this point, but I'm like, don't take this deal, right? He's still got some more room, or here's what he's going to do, so watch out. And they're like, oh, okay, all right. And so I did sell cars. I think I worked there about a month. In my last week, I think I sold like 6 or 7 cars in a week, which you would think is not bad. I actually sold one guy 2 cars when he came into the dealership. I didn't stand on the rails. I wasn't a vulture. Every one of my deals came from the phone. So there's a phone bank in the back of the dealership with a bunch of computers, and it's got every single customer who's ever came in to apply for a car, who's ever gotten an oil change, who ever bought a car 5 years ago. They keep all of that in a huge database, and every day they just print a new report of customers. Here's people we haven't called in the last 30 days. This is how my dealership did it. Get on the phone, call those people, see if they want to come and do a trade-in, see if they want to come and refinance, see if they want to try and get something new, whatever it is. We got a deal going on, Labor Day, whatever. And then that's where all my business came from, just cold calling. Literally 300 people more a day, leaving messages, trying to get a couple people like, get them hooked and interested to come in. Because I just didn't want to be that kind of vulture. I'm not that type of person. And so I got my business the hard way. But because I was a bad salesman, every one of my deals is what they called a mini, right? Which basically means that the dealership either sold the car for very little profit, or in my case, for a loss just because they were volume. They had to keep making room for new inventory. So they were happy to get rid of a car, if they even maybe lost a little money, broke even, something like that. So that's what most of my deals were. And as a salesman, it's all commission. And my check was like $100 each car. So I made like $700 for it took me a month to get here. And it's like 12-hour days. This was in Arizona in the summer. So spending a lot of time on that lot in the 112, 10 degrees, sweating balls, late nights. It sucked. And after I got my first check, I was like, you know what? It's not worth it. I got a newborn. I got a family. My summer break's almost over. And I just quit. And they're like, whatever. Salesman, you guys are a dime a dozen. You can make money if you're good. If you get a couple sweet deals, that's where the money comes from, right? Most of your deals are going to be small, but the guys that make, and gals that make money, they make the money because you get, don't be this person, every now and then you get someone who gets taken for a ride, and that will give you a huge payday. So that's where you make most of your money from. Interesting experience. I guess I'm glad I did it, but that's what it's like to be a car salesman. And like I said, you have all the power as the customer. They need you a lot more than you need them. And when you have that in mind, it flips, like I said, the script. They should be scared of you. You should not be scared of them. At any time, just get up, and that's your veto power. Just walk away. And then you'll be surprised. I've seen it happen so many times, how quickly they run and chase you down. Okay, because they need your business. It's cutthroat. It's competitive. And they need to sell cars, and you'll be surprised the lengths that they'll go to sell you a car, because of how badly they really do need your business. Okay. All right. Hopefully that helps. If you are buying a car anytime soon, like I said, never take the first, second, or third deals. Make them work for it. Save you a lot of money. And, don't be a chump. Don't be that person they laugh at in the tower. Okay. All right. I got to go. I got stuff to do. I know you do too. And I'll catch you later.